War-weary Palestinians in Gaza who lost their homes and loved ones in 2024 see little hope for this new year that will bring an end to their suffering. More than 45,000 people have been killed and more than 100,000 injured. Israeli strikes targeted several areas across the Strip at dawn on Wednesday. At least 17 were killed and several others injured after airstrikes hit homes in Jabalia in the north and in the Bureij camp in central Gaza. The bodies and the injured from the attack on the camp were taken to the barely functioning Al-Aqsa Hospital in Deir el-Balah. Well, let's go live now to Tareq Azzoum, who is in Deir el-Balah. Tareq, talk us through these latest strikes.
Well, in fact, Jessica, the atmosphere is quite charged with blistering attacks in the north since the early hours of this morning. We have been in touch with eyewitnesses in the site of the attack that took place earlier in Jabalia, el-Balah town, where they confirmed that at least 15 civilians were killed in the strike that leveled to the ground a multi-story building in Jabalia, el-Balah town, and there are still 10 people missing under the rubble as civilians are banding together there in order to look for survivors throughout the tons of debris resulted from the strike. But elsewhere, the situation has been quite very turbulent, especially 5 kilometers away from where we are in Al-Bureij refugee camp, where another residential building has been targeted. We got a confirmation that 2 civilians were killed in the strike amid a very trail of destruction has been left behind the attack. Well, till now there is no any let up on the ground in terms of the military attacks, where the Israeli army is still pressing on with its military operation both in Rafah in the far south of the Strip and even in the north of the territory, where the vast tracts of neighborhoods have been reduced to the rubble, and battles are still also taking place between Hamas fighters and the Israeli occupation forces there.
And Tareq, meanwhile, as so many people around the world mark the new year with celebrations, what have people been telling you in Gaza about their hopes?
Well, the first hours of the new year are quite lit not by fireworks but by the fire of destruction. We understand clearly that the onset of the new year is marked by the thunder of military warplanes and even the sharp crack of explosions as families are trying to cope with this very somber reality. They are quite going through very severe weather conditions, and they are even overwhelmed with Israeli attacks that have no sign of abating due to the Israeli military momentums. We can see how mothers clutch their children, whispering prayers for mercy, and fathers silently shoulder the unbearable weight of protecting their families, as the atmosphere is quite filled with fear and even a frustration. A mother just has moved next to me right now, crying for the loss of her beloved one. This is a part of the bleak reality that civilians have been going through over the course of the past 14 months, and yet they are trying to cope with the situation, to show a very unique display of resilience, simply because they are not so strong to show that, but they have left with narrow window of options, and they are trying to cope with the situation with all possible means left, as the entire world is watching them silently without taking any practical action to afford Palestinians protection or even to grant them at least the minimum level of essential care that they deserve.
Tareq, thank you for your reporting. That's Tareq Azzoum reporting from Deir el-Balah.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.